Sitting at a uncomfortable 90. We need to go down to a comfortable 9. That's the way I like it. So we're going to have an interesting episode today. This is not exactly a episode that's pleasant to talk about, subject-wise today, but we do have some special guests today, and we have another special guest who's also an EO content creator as well, and I'm very happy to have him on. Let me go ahead and hop into the stage for Siin TV. Get everybody in, and then we'll turn the standby off and we'll start the show. Let me go ahead and check the chat, see what's going on here. Let's see here from Sylvie. For the poll, I use different passwords for every single account, pretty much, so if it gets breached, I don't have to change potentially dozens. I also use 2 factors on everything important. And then, oh yeah, hi. Hey Sylvie, how's it going? Welcome to today's stream. I'm glad to have you here. We got a special topic to talk about. So I'm gonna go ahead and get everybody invited in. We're gonna start the stream. And this is just kind of a thing that we're doing for the community. Everybody hop on in. Raise your hands.
Raise his hand.
Hey, Wish.
Hello.
And you can hop in too, Zeth, if you want, buddy. Mace is going to be in the audience listening. Hey, okay, so let me go ahead and turn the standby off. So we have the UK perspective with us today.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing?
Amazing. Do you know something I didn't do? I didn't give you my character.
Oh, yeah. Next time we have you on the show, we definitely need to get your puppet so we can have you animated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need a unique look because everyone looks cool and I just wear the same old Auron Helm of Darkness. So I don't know. I need to find some sort of look.
Yeah, I was sitting there like whenever I created my character, I was like, what look do I want to go for? And then I was just sitting there, I was like, oh, I do like the pilot goggles. I definitely want those for sure. I never had those with my original account. So, because I think I went with like with a full armor set, like Helmet of Darkness, Hero, and all that. I was like, I don't want to do that this time. I want something unique.
Yeah, I like the Burke. It's kind of like just the shorts. But I never wear it. I think it's called Burke. I'm not sure.
Let's see here. Hey, Devil Dog Entertainment, how's it going? And let's see here from Sylvie. Yeah, I heard about the EO servers harvesting logins. Ooh, neat. Hi, UK. I used some of your money making the XP guides. From Sylvie.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
keep grinding.
Today we're going to be talking about user security. We're not going to be listing names. Those of you who are already in the EO community, you kind of know the names, but out of respect, we're not going to be listing names. Security's kind of a bit of an issue lately. We've been seeing these random servers pop up left and right, which is also a good thing, but can be a bad thing for users. And the reason for that is because you don't know if you can trust that server owner. They could have something in their client or in the files that will compromise your account information, and they could have compromised your account information on other servers, which is, if you don't know by now, your account is probably the most valuable thing you can have in the game. You know, you can get all this amazing armor, all these amazing weapons, but when it comes down to it, your account is the most valuable thing that you own. So I kind of want to pick people's brains today about this. Does anybody want to kind of chime in first about this? Like, what is your recommendations for let's say a new or returning player who hasn't been in the community for a while? What would you recommend if they were watching this video today as like their first introduction into the community again? How to be safe?
Yes,
I would.
You
go ahead. Okay, I would just recommend changing your passwords from each server. Don't keep the same password for every single server that you play, because you never know what might happen.
Yeah, I agree. Whenever I play on different servers, I don't ever use the same usernames. I don't ever use the same passwords. I don't use the same emails. I have different things for all accounts, and that's for my safety. But what about you, UK perspective?
I think with private servers, or just coming onto Endless Online, if you're a new player or a returning player, a lot of official private servers have their own eoserve.net website, right? So getting your client from there is always like a bonus. But I'd also always use a unique username and password. I feel like it's said for everything, for every, not just Endless Online, but in general, always use a unique username and password. But especially for Endless Online, if you play multiple servers, you should never have the same account name and password, because you don't know truly who is running that private server. You don't know their intention fully, and you don't know if anything happens. You don't know the dark side of everyone, right? So just for your own security, unique username, unique password every time. Just even if if you think it's too much to remember, I know it's not super secure, but you could write it in a notepad if you're the only person with access to your PC or your phone, maybe, just so it's not
Right.
too overwhelming.
Right, and I want to tell people too, like, anybody who's watching, we're not saying don't join any of these servers. Don't trust anybody, but
Oh yeah, definitely.
there's definitely people who have earned trust within the community over the years, and there's definitely people who have shown their true colors over the few years. So it is kind of a gamble always when you're playing on different servers, and usually, like, with anything that you download on your computer, whether it is a legitimate program or a legitimate company that you're downloading this product from, you always have to practice user safety.
Yeah.
But what about you, Wish? What would you recommend to a player to?
Well, there is something that came to mind that I don't. The only server I know of it right so far that has this issue is BU. I don't know if it's on any other server, but if you're multi-clienting and you try to log in on one of the other clients, the password that you enter in can actually end up getting publicly pasted, because it goes into the little chat window on the other client while you're trying to type in your password. I don't know if they fixed that, but that also is something to look out for if that's an issue. Just to be mindful.
I will say, if that is an issue, I guarantee you Jonah is probably trying to figure out a way to fix that, because I know Jonah is very concerned when it comes to user safety. He's expressed that many times, for sure.
Yeah, there was at least one person I knew that they had their account accessed because they were unaware. Now, I will say that BU community, usually they'll let you know. From what I've seen, they'll let you know if you accidentally did that. So, you might get lucky, but it's definitely something to be mindful of, is that custom clients might behave a little bit differently.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick here, let's read the comments here from Sylvie. Older clients like BU all have that bug. It's fixed in the newer Vult-r clients. Oh, okay,
nice.
Cool. From Toro. Oh, is this who's Toro? I feel like I know this person. Toro says hi.
Hello.
Well, how's it going, Toro?
Just a little tip, that account name and username leakage on another client. I always click the exit now, so like the logout button, and that will stop any leakage because it stops your character being able to type. So if I'm going on to another client, I will go on the main client I'm using and click log out, and it comes up with, are you sure you want to log out, yes, no? And as long as that's up, you won't leak anything onto the main client. Just a little tip.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't even think of that, to be honest.
Well, there you go. There's a nice pro tip for everybody out there who wants to, do multi-client. There's a good tip right there. I wouldn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you see it happen quite often on Clone. People use multi-clients, and people on Clone aren't so forgiving. So if you put your account name and password on Clone, that account gone. So yeah.
That is for sure.
I also do think in BU you have an option to mute your other characters, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
There's a command for that,
Oh really?
and that's helpful as well.
So does
Let's
that just
see.
stop your main, like, your character talking at all? Like, you can't type on it?
Yeah, the character that you mute can't type, so if you're typing on a different account, it won't leak through the muted one.
No, that's good.
Oh, interesting. Real quick here from Toro says Mortal here, and then Argentina. Are these your accounts or something? Or is this where you're at? What are you doing? Are you leaking information? Don't leak information now. That goes against today's topic. But I also recommend VPNs. If you don't use a VPN, I recommend it just in case. You never know like what all information is going to be shared. So always use a VPN to change your location and use different emails. I have so many emails now for all these different clients. I don't ever trust using the same information on anything. So like to me it's like my account is like if anything happened to my Sin account that was leaked, I'd be like, oh crap, well there goes my Sin character. It's been compromised. It's gone. And
What VPN would you recommend? And is it expensive? Do you use VPN?
I know a lot of people use Nord, but I use what's called Ghost VPN. And it's actually a lot cheaper, and it has a lot of unique features to it. It's just called Ghost, I believe. I can put a link to it in the description below whenever I finish the stream today, and that way, if anyone wants to check out a VPN, you can also use a virtual machine too. Virtual machines are really good for like keeping your IP address safe. You can always. That's another step for protection. Whenever I used to play on the original EO server before it all crashed, I would use a virtual machine. And that's also kind of a trick for all you people out there who use Mac or Linux and you can't run Endless Online on your computer. Use a virtual machine that runs Windows. And it works. Let's see here, real quick. Let me read the comments here. I knew about the BU thing from research. It's very useful. I don't trust free VPNs, and I don't want to spend money on paid one. I hear you. I understand. It's all about, you know. I mean, you can find other ways to do it, honestly. Let's see here from Devil Dog Entertainment. Express is good. And then from Sylvie. Heck, from what I've searched, even a lot of paid ones are shady. I don't work as well as popular. Yeah. It's honestly up to you. There's other ways you can do it. Like I said, you can always use different usernames, passwords. There's other ways to protect yourself from getting your accounts compromised. But oh god, is there anything else that we can recommend to like new or returning players for user safety?
I think I'd just say just be extra wary. If you're on, I guess, some of the popular servers, just be extra wary when a new server pops up, and just make sure you're not using, like, just stress that you should not be using the same username and password as you use for the main server. So if you're on Clone or BU or something, and another server's come out brand new, and it's getting advertised, just be extra wary going on it. It doesn't mean it's necessarily a scam, but you just really need to use a different username and password, because I think client side, I'm pretty sure it's just there for them to see, or it can easily be decrypted. So yeah, if you ever see like these new servers popping up, you really need to be using different information. I always do. I'm sure everyone in here always does. So you just need to be extra careful. And it doesn't matter who it is who's making it. It doesn't matter who it is that owns that server. Better to be safe than sorry.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Let me read these comments real quick. From Devil Dog. He says Express is good, and so he says, heck, from what I've searched, oh wait, where I read that one. From Toro, I don't know if I can, I'm not gonna name the name, but it says someone got one of my accounts and names because I used the same password as clone, but you were given help to get it back, so that's good. Stay away from links. Stay away from finicky or fishy and inexpensive senders. The overall online user safety is important. Watch out for phishers, scammers. Use different passwords with multiple chats or chairs. Never share personal information with anyone. No, I agree. Don't. Your personal information is your, like I said, your account is the most valuable thing you have on these servers. That's what makes you you.
Yeah. I think one thing I would add is that that you remember the information that you signed up with. You know, like your location and email and all that. And even though the recovery thing isn't working, there are still admins that are able to look at that stuff and help you recover your account if you do lose it. You know, depending on the server that you're on, you know, that might not be the easiest thing in the world, depending on if the admin is active. But
Yeah,
it is something that could potentially help you out.
that actually, you just brought up something that I kind of want to piggyback off of. Do your research within the community too. Always do your research. And the good thing about most of these servers is that they have their own websites, their forums. I think some of them still have forums, but they also have their own Discord communities. There's always information being shared. There's videos being put up left and right. You can always check, you know, UK Perspectives videos. You can always check Bling Queen. All these different YouTubers who show off these servers. Check the reputation of the admins. Are they known for getting back with their users? Are they known for being active within the community? Are they known for showing support within their community? That's also very important, to do your research. How active are these admins? And if something was to happen to your account and if it was compromised, would you ever hear back from them, or would they just be silent the whole time? And
Right.
that's something to definitely keep in mind whenever you do join a server. Definitely pay attention to its community. Definitely pay attention to its staff. Luckily, though, like I gotta say though, there are a lot of good servers that I do enjoy, and I do feel like I can trust the owners. However, I always practice precaution 100%. That's just a rule I go by. You never know what's going to happen one day. Even if the owners are completely trusted, who knows? Maybe they might hire somebody as staff one day, and they thought they could trust them too. And then turns out the person who was on the staff they have their own private agenda. And that's something you got to take in mind when it comes to these servers. The owners could be 100% legit, but their team could have a different agenda and try to compromise things, or they could be trying to do something for their own other server. Who knows? I don't know. It's weird when you look at. I like to think that most servers get along, or most server owners or developers get along very well, but I also know there's also kind of a bit of a competition when it comes to it. And
you definitely feel that sometimes. Definitely feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Like competition.
But
Yeah.
usually, I'd like to think it's a friendly competition. But I do know that when you have more people involved, that there's more chances of somebody who's going to compromise that competition.
Higher risk.
Right. Let's read some of these comments real quick. From Devil Dog Entertainment, write the info down 110%. Staff can see your emails and passwords. That way you can get them reset. One of the biggest red flags is if the link doesn't have the security lock and the URL bar located on the top left. Okay, yeah, definitely. I personally do not use personal information for EO clients. I use generic names and fake emails. I write down my information and keep it in a secure location at home. That's a good advice.
Yep.
You know, I know Devil Dog. I know that you're in the day, or you're listening on the stage with us. If you want to hop in, because he actually is part of a community. He actually is part of a staff who helps run a server, and he would be good for giving out advice and information for user safety and security. So if you're willing to, if you want to hop in voice, just raise your hand and we'll see if you can talk this time on the stream. But I would love to have you come in and be able to join us here. Let's see here. Okay, there you go.
Something else I'd like to just say is you probably shouldn't share your account with anyone. Especially if you don't know them. If they're just an online friend, I definitely wouldn't recommend sharing your account. Just because if anything happens to that account and your friend is saying, oh no, we didn't do anything, you can't be sure. So I'd definitely there isn't much reason for anyone to actually go onto your account. So I definitely wouldn't share your account with anyone. Unless it's like a real life person, your husband, wife, girlfriend, real life friend, family member. If it's just a person online and they're asking for access to your account, you've got to really question, why did they want access to my account and what's it actually going to provide for them? Because normally it doesn't actually add anything to go on someone else's account, unless it's a really high level, but then like you're risking more as well. So just be extra careful on who you're sharing your account with, because if anything goes wrong and they're saying it's not them, then you're thinking to yourself, oh, did I download something malicious or anything like that? And it feels like almost like you're getting gaslighted when maybe they've just stolen your account.
Yeah.
To piggyback off that, and that's a very good point. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but I'm gonna just try and speak anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, sharing personal information is always a no-go. And it seems like common sense, but sometimes you really do want to put that trust and that give someone that benefit of the doubt, right? Let's say there's someone that plays more hours than you in the game. You might have a busy schedule, what have you, and all of a sudden your account is gone, or you can't log in for some reason. And then when and it goes full circle, because sometimes you might try and reach out to the community or to the staff and they're like, well, there's nothing we can do, and now you're stuck in a situation where you just lost everything. So definitely don't share personal information. Like I said in the chat, I keep everything written down, and I think that as long as you do that and you prevent it, not only does it help you prevent from forgetting things, but it does two things, right? And the second thing is you can see what passwords you've used in the past. So if you don't want to keep it recurring, you'll always be able to have a new password and have it not only secured, but you won't have to forget as well. So that's my little 2 cents when it comes to stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. Luckily, I'm very good at remembering my accounts, but I definitely need to write them down for sure. I do recommend that you write them down. Anyone who's got accounts, just write them down. That's the best thing you could do.
Mm-hmm.
But also, something that I was going to talk about too, and I'd love to get everyone's opinion on this. When I was looking through the most recent security breach that was going on, luckily there's a lot of people in the community who share this information and made it known what to look out for. I always recommend too you look at the game folder, open it up first before you do anything. Open it up and look through the contents of the game folder and compare it to other game folders that you have, because there are certain things that will stand out in the game folder if it's new or if it's weird looking. The one thing that made me kind of laugh about this previous one was the name of the content, or the contents that was within this folder. It had a name that's like, really, you didn't think people were going to catch on to that? Like, it was poorly named. Anyone who goes through the contents of the folder can see it and go, okay, that looks suspicious. So that's something I want to kind of suggest as well, is look through the contents of the game folder first before you do anything. Before you launch the game, before you even create an account on there, look through the contents. If something looks suspicious, maybe question it first and have someone look at it with you. Because there's tons of people in the community who'd be willing to look at it and go, this doesn't... Yeah, let me investigate that. I might know somebody who knows how to see what this is. Anybody got any opinions or want to piggyback off of that?
I I did have something I wanted to talk about earlier. It's kind of in the same boat, but not really. But some servers allow real money transactions for accounts as well. So I'd definitely make sure you use a trusted middleman to go through with account selling, because if you don't and you lose an account, the admins aren't going to give it back to you. That's on you. That's your responsibility. So if you plan on selling an account to somebody else, and let's say clone or restart, make sure you use somebody that you can trust.
Before we go on with that, do you mind explaining to new or returning players what the middleman is for the community?
Yeah, so the middleman is someone who is deemed trustworthy within the community that acts as a third party through item and account selling. So both parties would go through this middleman, exchange information to that person, and then once the deal was done, the middleman would release that information to the other parties.
Real quick, Sylvie says, there's also password manager. The best ones are open source ones that people can look up over a code to secure it safe. Yeah, there's also, you can also get those, there's a lot of password programs that you can get. They're like huge, gigantic passwords that it generates, and once it gives it to you, it also gives you like a scrambled code for it that no one can translate but you. And you could just copy and paste it each time. It's a long damn password. It would probably be like 130 characters or something. But yeah. What about you guys? Anybody else want to kind of chime in off of what we were talking about?
Just to talk about that password manager, I think if you use Microsoft Edge, it has one built in. So if I ever make anything, like I sign up to anything, a website on like Microsoft Edge, it will just put a random password for me. I don't even look at it, and it's just saved.
Right.
So yeah, that's definitely a good suggestion. I don't know if it's on Google Chrome. I've not used Google Chrome for a while. Don't ask me why I changed to Edge. I don't know. I just did, and now I'm stuck there.
Yeah, I like to piggyback as well. And speaking about Microsoft and really just Windows, you know, it has a really good Defender tool built in, right? Every Windows product, you can scan for viruses. You can it prevents malicious attacks just right out the gate. Nowadays, you really don't even need an antivirus because most computers come with them. But it's always good to have that extra, right? The extra layer of security. But overall, I use that scan tool for everything. I kind of do I kind of double tap it because my Windows, or really my Microsoft, will scan for viruses, and then I have my antivirus, which I would say I use free promotion. I use I think McAfee. I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure which one. All I know is I paid for this darn thing, and it came with my computer, so I just have it. And it works. You know, I haven't really had any attacks. I've never had a virus, and sometimes I would even admit I'm not perfect. I would click on some shady looking websites and links. I'd be like, oh man, I hope this works. You know, but usually works out, and it scans for viruses, or if it does kick it back, that's when I go into the folder and start investigating what's causing it. For, you know, let's say I'm being a poopy head, and then I'm trying to maybe inject myself into a game, you know, just for little cheats. Then, you know, obviously it's gonna throw viruses because you're injecting into something. So little random tidbit there. But I would like to also say this though, while we're on that topic of just sharing information with these EO clients, these servers, and these people. And I want you guys to always remember this. Be careful, and it's the holiday season right now, so this is the number one time. This is the highest volume of time where hackers, scammers, phishers are out there actively working almost 24 hours. Okay, so some of these people, you know, it's unlawful, depending on what part of the world you're from, to you call shop out, right? You just send out your personal information to buyers, and then you start getting emails of advertisements and what have you. That includes hackers and scammers as well. So protect your email. That's part of the reason why I don't use real emails on EO clients, because I don't know where it's gonna go. But yeah, definitely double down on that, especially in the holiday season. You're at the most vulnerable at this time of year. That's really all I have.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Sylvie says, I use Firefox because it's not phoning home or to Google or MS. I actually have Firefox, but I haven't used it in a while. I do like Firefox. I did think of two more things, though, that I as we were all talking, that I want to discuss. There are other things that you can look out for. So say, for example, you download, every client is different. They all have their different ways how they programmed it and how it functions. If there's a user agreement policy that you need to read and where you have to accept something and agree to, read through it carefully. I'm not joking when I say that. Like, I know it's boring. I know it's a long just wall of text, but you really need to go through and read that before, or if you don't have the time to read it, you can actually just go and hire a cheap attorney to look it over and be like, hey, yeah, no, this, that's shady, or that's something you need to question right there. So if there is a user agreement attached to a client, definitely read it very carefully, and feel free to ask. There's no harm in asking questions too. You can even ask the people, hey, what does this mean when you say this? Like, tell me specifically what this means, because my brain's translating it as this, but I want to know what you mean by this. And you can listen to their answer and see if it's something that you trust or not. Just use good judgment. Another thing that I think that me in the UK perspective would definitely recommend, especially if you're EO YouTubers, if you're streaming or recording, always be careful whenever you have to log out and log back in, because you could easily compromise your entire account if you're streaming and you don't have a standby or something to go in front of your screen to prevent people from seeing what you're typing in, or to kind of guess what you're typing in. I know that the UK perspective could definitely probably could relate to that.
Yeah, I mean, even though your passwords start out, one, you're giving away your username if you don't hide it, and two, because it's out there in the open, people can slow down and see exactly how many characters your password is, which you definitely don't want people to know. So even though it started out, people are still going to get information, and that's your username out there for everyone, just on video. So you definitely want to be hiding that. For me, I didn't have a screen ready, so when I was streaming, I just literally black screened my stream. But I'd rather do that than compromise any sort of username, password information.
Right. That's why I always like to zoom in on my streams, because if you zoom in on your screen a particular way on the game, there's a way you can actually just do everything without having to put on a standby. But it's always not. I always try to put a standby on just for precaution. So for anyone out there who wants to be an EO content creator, or you want to stream or make recordings, pay attention to that. Be very mindful when you do something like that. You could accidentally leak out your information to someone, and there will be somebody out there who will notice and want to take advantage of that. Also, that kind of brings up another thing. You guys remember back in the original EO days when you had to use the arrow keys to go through that little password thing that we had before you actually could type out your password? You actually had to go through and manually put in each letter with the arrow keys.
Yeah, that was that's cool.
That was what do you guys think about that when it comes to secure? Do you think that was less secure back in the day, or do you think that was more secure?
More secure, I think.
It was meant to counteract keyloggers, so they couldn't read your keyboard strokes. So, I mean, it did its job, I suppose, but probably they found a way to get around that, would be my guess eventually.
Yeah. Probably some way where it encrypts the code of user information and passwords. I don't know.
I think that's also a case of people preferring convenience over security. That, oh, I just want to log in a lot faster than using the arrow keys, so we're just going to
Yeah.
remove this. Which doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Do you think maybe it would be an unnecessary feature, like say like maybe a patch update where like you have the option for extra security instead of in case you're worried about key logging. You can either manually type in your password or you can do it the old-fashioned way.
It would be nice as an option for sure. Yeah, for a while I thought it was an option, but it isn't. You just can't have that anymore, right? Unless you can change it in the settings. I'm not sure, but that definitely should be an option. It should be a bit highlighted as well. Maybe in the config or something, you can have it on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Real quick from Sylvie says, if you're at the point where you need anti-malware other than Windows Defender, then you should work on training yourself to use the computer safer and more aware. No reason to use them then. If your keyboard is loud, you'd also have to mute your stream because people can count the clicks. That is true. That is very true. That's why I always try to mute my mic, or another great thing that you can use, a program called Crisp. And what Crisp does is it actually mutes out and suppresses like most background noises, and it only focuses on your voice. It's not 100% all the time, but it definitely helps out with like if you're typing on the keyboard. It does like take out some of the clicks. Sylvia also says it's technically more secure, but if you have a keylogger, I'd say it's shady. Too late. You gotta secure your PC. It could be a part of a rat or botnet. I don't know what a botnet is. What's that? What's a botnet? Anybody know?
no clue. But it is right. If you've already got a keylogger on your PC, you're probably
Yeah.
screwed already.
Yeah. I honestly, it's just a gamble. But again, I wanna say to people, we're not saying don't go out there and try out new things. Like, definitely try out new things, but just be safe about it. Be smart about it, because we want people to have fun, explore, and to spread awareness of the community. I mean, we're already growing as it is. Look at where we are now compared to where we were back then. It's still growing. And there's people coming back like, oh, this is cool. I didn't know that EO was still a thing. I was one of those people. I came in, I was like, oh, wow, I thought this game was dead. So that's why we feel that this is necessary to talk about, especially with some of the most recent events, is we want you to explore, we want you to have fun, but we also want you to be safe in the process. That's the number one thing that we advise today. Just be safe. Let's see here real quick from Sylvie. If your PC is already infected, a keypad isn't going to stop. They could just watch your screen with the video feed, or threaten you for your account. They could hack worse stuff than EO2. That is true. Hopefully that would never happen to somebody. That would be terrible. A botnet is a mass network of computers with backdoor access from attackers. Man, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time reading from this other screen. This screen is like got things minimized. DDoS attacks. Oh, DDoS attacks. I see. Servers by using 100% of the opponent. Ugh, that sounds nasty. A botnet rat can get into grab password stream of browser stream. Ew. I don't want that. Nobody do that.
Can you imagine, by the way? Someone goes for this master hacking thing, and the only thing they take is your endless online account. It's like, phew, thank God. Nothing important then.
That's true, but I will say, if I ever lost my Siin account, I would be really upset. I'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
there goes my brand, you know?
Yeah.
It'd be like if you,
that,
yeah. But
you didn't get your name changed to 3 letters, just the SIN.
Yeah, I can't get the.
He
3
does on one
letters.
server.
Luckily, Trippy
Yeah,
was kind
what
enough
was
to do
it?
that.
Yeah.
We found
Does it
out
make
though
it so
that
he can't get PM'd?
yes,
He can't-
yes, it
he
does.
can't.
I love it though. It's kind of nice. I remember the first time I tried that out. It was when Trippy had his first server that he made. and he changed my name to SIN. He's like, oh crap, I can't PM you or anything. I was like, that's fine. I don't want people bothering me. I just want to play the game and enjoy it. If they want to talk to me, they can come up to me in person and talk to me.
Yeah, they can find me.
But yeah, I think we covered a lot of good stuff today. If anybody else has something that they want to add in real quick before we call it a day, please feel free to chime in. Any more information to give out for user safety is definitely important. But I think we covered a lot of great stuff.
I guess just the one last thing I'll cover, because it actually did come up recently in an Endless Online server that I was in, is be really careful with Discord links. Some of them are very malicious and will just steal your Discord account like straight away, and also then post other weird stuff on your Discord account. So just be careful with those, because one of those did pop up recently in one of the Endless Online Discords, and you do need to be careful with those. Because they can put stuff on your account.
Yeah, definitely be careful on Discord, because Discord's not really the most secure thing, if I had to be honest. There's a lot of shady stuff that can be done on Discord. And if anybody ever sends you an invite to a Discord to join their server, always be mindful and ask questions first. I'm sure UK Perspective gets it. I'm sure there's people out there who get it a lot. Probably even, I'm sure, Vult-r and all of them get this. But anyone who's starting up their own server, there's always a project Discord server to join to support the project. Ask questions first before you join. Ask lots of questions. And if you have to, make you a second Discord account and join and kind of like look around, investigate for a little while. There's nothing wrong with investigating or go incognito. I always go incognito for a while before I actually join a community. And then once I feel like I can trust that community or the people in it, then I'll reveal myself into the community. But yeah, go incognito if you need to.
That's some really good advice, I think, incognito.
Thank you. But I think that's all we can really cover today. I mean, I think we all had really great points. Let's see. Did Sylvie say anything else? They can also look at your webcam and get your location. And honestly, hacker stuff like download and run programs on your PC silently to run the shell command. You're scaring me, Sylvie. You're scaring me. Stop it. I'm gonna go hide in my basement tonight. Like, they're gonna get me. Oh God. But I appreciate all of you guys for joining us, especially you, Sylvie. Thank you for joining in. Thank you, UK Perspective, for joining us. Zath, Mace, thank you, Prophet, for joining us. Wish, you've all provided really great information today, and I hope that if there's ever a new or returning player who is joining the community, that I hope that they do one day discover this video, because this is for you.
Yeah.
To be aware and to be safe. We want you to have fun, but we also want you to be safe. Like, I know it sounds like we're all being preachy here, but this is important. This is very important for your computer safety. But with that, I think we'll call this a stream. Thank you, everybody, for joining me, and we'll see you next time on SiinTV.
Bye-bye.
Bye.